welcome to another Squad Games Hot Takes episode, everyone. Today we have our guest, Matt, joining us from the East Coast, most notably known for the head TO at Nova for quite a few years. Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been playing Kill Team since pretty much day one of first edition.
Mm-hmm.
Ran lots of local stuff, and then I got tapped to run Nova after Ben Cash got a big promotion in the Nova hierarchy.
Nice.
And I've been doing that for the last few years now.
Amazing. Yeah. So, that is how was Nova last year? I unfortunately missed Nova last year. I'm probably going to miss Nova this year too because I am having a baby around then. We
Hey,
have a
congratulations!
yeah, we have a new subscriber, Sean, ABC Sean, for the next 7 months. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you, brother. Um, yeah, it's going to be. Oh, go ahead and answer that question, Matt. Sorry.
It was great. Every year we're growing bigger and bigger, adding more events. Sometimes we take away events, but it seems like everyone's having a really good time, which is what it's all about.
And there's a new announcement I saw. There's some more golden tickets for a team event, right?
Yeah, so we've been working since Nova to really shuffle some things around, and the format in the previous years was Thursday was the narrative event and some kind of small tournament. Um, Last year I did a Warriors only event, um, and then Friday would be the team tournament, and Saturday and Sunday was the GT. But last year we had just a ton of people come out for the team tournament. And so we were able to work with the higher ups at Nova, make some space. And so this year, the team tournament is going to be 2 days,
Good.
Thursday and Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And we will have three golden tickets for the top team. And then the GT remains Saturday and Sunday with the golden ticket for the winner of that. And then the narrative event, we've actually been able to expand that to 2 days too, because we've moved that to a separate space. And that's going to be Thursday and Friday. So a lot more events, a lot more golden tickets. I think it's going to be really good.
Cool. That's awesome, man. It's awesome to see another team event also taking off because preferably that is my favorite way to
Yeah.
play Kill Team. Um, how about yours, Matt? Do you like solo events? Do you like team events? Like, what is your flavor?
I am terrible at team event pairing.
Mm.
Um, and I get really upset when I lose in team events because I feel like I'm letting the team down. I'm doing one now online on the Command Point Discord, and
Hmm.
it's a lot of stress. So I like the camaraderie, and I like being part of a team, but it is an extra level of stress for sure.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Um, Typically, if I ever play 40K or any other kind of game system, I usually try to play in a team event, so I don't go, full sweat core.
Sure.
I that I guess that's my hot take. I think the best way to play Kill Team is possibly in a team event. It's also it's not it's like new player friendly.
It is.
There's not as much stress typically, unless if you're Matt. Um, but maybe that stress is good, and maybe if you
Yeah.
lose every game, people, your friends will razz you, and be like, "Hey, dude, you're tracking us down, bro." Yeah, well, I
I
brought
mean,
Hearthkin salvagers. What did you expect? You
see,
know,
that's what I'm worried about. But yeah, no, but no, it is fun, and I'm enjoying the one I'm doing now for sure. But that's all. It's all my personal hangups, to be honest.
that's fair. Yeah, man, I had a couple really good hot takes these past weeks. Pretty fun. But also, I have got our new UV printer in, and I've been testing some stuff and
Nice.
testing like new little gizmos and gadgets, for measuring sticks and all sorts of stuff. So
What'd you
looking
get?
forward. It's called the Eufy Make, um, Eufy Make One,
Okay.
and I bought it back in August, and it finally got here like 2 days ago. So, and then I found out that UV printers don't like to print on acrylic substrate or acrylic stuff. So now I've been trying to figure out if I needed to get some kind of additive property to kind of put over the top of it so that it like cures better, all sorts of stuff, all sorts of problems I didn't know I was gonna have, I had today. So it was exciting to figure out. But we're getting through it. We're getting through it. Matt, anything else you've been doing lately?
No, I got out to a tournament yesterday. That was fun. A little local one. Haven't been able to get out and play for a while, so that was good.
Yeah. All right. All right. Do you have any hot takes you want to start us out with, or are you ready to try and dive in?
Very hot take, and it is quite spicy.
Okay, I'm excited.
You ready? I think the current meta right now is the most balanced meta we've ever had.
Oh my god, and that is a hot take.
Yeah.
That is a hot take. Um,
Now I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's perfectly balanced, but looking at the history of the game, it is very balanced. It is the most balanced.
um, I, I can agree to a point. For this edition, you mean just for this edition, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because last edition, the last like year was like
Yeah.
glory. Well, other than orcs and Felgor. But what's interesting is that Felgor have been on a tear. I think if Felgor won Adepticon. I think Dylan won. Um, can't really tell for sure because Adepticon's stuff isn't up. But Felgor were also kind of like broken at Worlds, right? Dylan took what, third, and they're still cruising through the meta. And then you have Celestine Incidents and Murder Wing. For me, I think that there's too much recency bias, and it's kind of hard because there's even places like out. So, for instance, PSO Raveners won PSO. Raveners
Right.
aren't good anywhere else in the world except for in California, right? Um, so far, we'll have to see what happens at Maastricht. I heard there's a couple Ravener players going there, so could be exciting. I think that the I think it's difficult because the game is too warped by top players to really
Yeah.
say if the game is in a good position or not.
Yes.
You know, you see a lot of different players taking different teams, which is a good sign. They kind of think they have play or counterplay, which does lend to your point that the game is in a decent state, right? Um, but to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of it right now. Like
Yeah.
that's like I don't like the meta at the moment. You know what I mean? To play wise, right? Unless if I'm playing Canoptic, then I'm having fun, but my opponents aren't having fun.
But I mean, but look at where Canoptic is these days. They're not cranking the top of the charts either.
They could be, but it's just the top players want to go play Murder Wing,
Or
Celestine
something else.
Incidents,
Yeah.
Felgor, other things, right? Um,
I mean, like if you remember, like this edition out of the gate,
mhm.
Warp Coven meta, uh, incredibly more oppressive than what we're looking at today.
I would agree.
Um,
Yes.
Sanctifiers meta, even worse. Going back to last edition, Chaos Cult, like we've had incredibly more oppressive metas than we're looking at right now. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Murder Wing and Space Wolves both need some kind of nerfs in there. And we could always, the game could always be better, sure. But compared to where we've been, like I don't know, I just think it's in a much better place than it probably ever has been.
I think that I can agree to a point. I just don't think that's like I think since it is in the best way possible, I think it's sad that it's still kind of so bad. you know,
Yeah.
um,
But,
but I can concede to your point. I think it is in the best meta we've had so far.
I saw a meme a little while ago, and it's just very true for this and just life in general. It's like, things are bad, yes,
Hmm.
true. Things have been worse, true. We could be doing better, also true. All
Hmm.
three of those statements can be true at the same time.
You're not wrong.
And
You are not.
for me, I think that's where we're at.
Um, so I am going to pull on our first hot take for the night, and that is going to be Warrior. Um, I think. Let me try to do. Matt's going to have to move so I can invite to speak.
Hello,
Hello, Warrior. Nice to have you on. Where are you calling in from?
Washington State.
Washington State. Okay.
Um,
What is your hot take for tonight?
it's an echo of my hot take last week from last week, but since GW has announced things, I feel slightly vindicated
Oh yeah.
that the Nemesis release is exactly the release that Kill Team needed. It is not the release that we, the competitive scene, wanted, but it is the release that Kill Team needed.
I think okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about the. I haven't even talked about the new. We haven't done a podcast, me and G, on the releases or anything, right? So this is all a relatively fresh topic that Squad Games has not covered. Matt, do you want to go first? What do you think?
Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, at Nova we do narrative, and I think judging what Nemesis looks like, I think we can definitely add that, and I think that's interesting. Um, I'm kind of blinded by the anger that GW released a Imperial Guard scout team, and they're not Gaunt's Ghosts. Like, what the hell is that? Um, like, sorry, I'm a huge Gaunt's Ghost fan, and it's just like, why? They're scout guardsmen. Like, almost each guy is a one for one for a character out of the books. But
Mm-hmm.
I digress. But no, yeah, I think it's cool. I like interesting formats, and I think the boss battle format could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, if this is the only team that we're getting to come out, maybe it is the thing that Kill Team needed. If it's not, and let's say we get another one of these one team releases, or Kill Team permanently moves to one team releases, and maybe we start getting a team every 2 months or something like that. Like, who knows what's on the future, right? Let's say this could just be like them trying to get money, in my opinion. Like the fact that now we have to buy this box for a team, and if we don't buy the box on release, you know, then we're gonna have to wait 6 months for the team for the one team to come out. Of course, this team does look pretty easy to kit bash. The Red Terror looks awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I'm also looking very forward to the Nemesis operatives and the rules for those, because we've already been doing those in our narrative campaigns. Just kind of see like GW's guidance to see if we can steal anything, or if I think we're doing it better. But is it what Kill Team needs?
So to elaborate slightly, and briefly responding to your point on is this the future releases?
Mm-hmm.
If I had to peer into the crystal ball and try to read GW's mind, I think 11th edition is fucking their production lines, and this is what they could manage for a release for Kill Team. But that aside, the reason that the Nemesis stuff I think is what it needs is you do really cool narrative events. Matt also does really cool narrative events, but for your average, not super mature scene, more casual, just a couple players, having a narrative mode that is officially supported by GW is huge. It's much easier to sell a couple people who have no TOing experience on just starting a crusade than running a whole narrative event. And that's why I think that this is going to help pull in the less competitive players, and that's why I think it's what Kill Team needs is more releases. Not totally this, not at all, but like maybe one a season of a narrative centric release. I think would be really good for the future of the game.
So I don't think that this is a bad release whatsoever. I think that it's a good release to offer more ways to play, but we have had a new way to play every single box outside of Hivestorm for this edition, and no one has gave two damns about anything other than Descent and now this, right? So everything else has been kind of a swing and a miss. You had Blood and Zeal with cards. You had the last box, the Wolf Scout box with this campaign system where you could like go and fight on different hexagons and stuff, right? And no one's really cared, right? until now. So like the thing is like maybe this is more of a slam dunk for things that people want, a different way that people want to play Kill Team, but I don't know if I could say like this is what Kill Team like needed, you know?
That's fair.
Maybe this
That's fair.
yeah, maybe this is like 100% like a knockout of the park, which we've had the option to run all these different ways to play Kill Team, you know, and learn different things, you know, but I mean,
The
it is we do need this. We do. I will
And
say.
I will say, I think it going back to the competitive meta, one of the issues that we have with the competitive meta, right, is that like a new team comes out, it takes about 2 patches to fix them. They're broken, really strong. Takes about 2 patches to fix them, and by that time they're fixed, the new box drops with 2 really strong teams in it, or one or strong team.
They're not
Generally
even
speaking,
fixed half the time by the time
right?
the
But
next two
generally
boxes
speaking,
come out.
right, like a guard team, a non-elite team isn't going to be historically is not overpowered out of the gate. We haven't seen that at all. It's always the elite teams in this edition have been overpowered out of the gate. So maybe this one being, an average, maybe a slightly above average team out of the box, and then it gives us time to catch up with everything else, right? So then you won't have a new team crushing everything before they get their 2 patches.
Yeah. I think that's like I think that it's hard to kind of like put a power level to a team, you know, before we've seen them. Just because I don't think a guard team has released in this edition.
Right, but I'm just saying historically, if you look at all the releases this edition, right? Non-elite teams, whether they were Horde
Sanctifiers.
or was Sanctifiers, okay, Sanctifiers. You're right. Sanctifiers was the one.
Aquilans.
You got me. Aquilans, I don't think were that busted out of the box, out of the gate. I think they were the same place they're kind of in now. If you don't understand how they work, they're going to kill you. But once you understand how they work, you're going to beat them pretty fast.
Mhm. The Nemesis operatives, I think, is going to be really fun for people to play at game stores. I think it's going to be really good to throw in narrative campaigns. I think it is something that Kill Team needs, is like the ability to run out rather than just normal NPOs. We
Yeah.
should have the ability to do these kinds of things. I wish it would have came a lot sooner in the edition rather than like halfway through, right? Um, in fact, I think like the Blood and Zeals like card metric would have been really cool right now, but I think everyone sold their cards or threw them away at this point in time.
I
You
think
know,
mine are
like
buried someplace.
yeah,
So,
I don't know
and
where they are.
to agree with Dakota briefly, I think that's the reason I'm hearing so much more good talk about this is
Hmm.
for a lot of the reasons. One of the reasons people don't play Kill Team is they like their big models. They don't want to
Yep,
just play a bunch of little dudes. They want to play with their Dreadnought or their Knight or their Keeper of Secrets or whatever. And this gateway drugs the 40K players a little bit.
it does.
So
Speaking of which,
that's
do we
all I
know,
got.
is the Red Terror any good in 40K?
It's
Um,
assuredly getting new rules.
Probably is getting new rules.
Because then
Uh,
it'll be really easy if you don't care about the Red Terror just to buy the box and sell it to a
yeah.
40K player. Or the 40K players are going to buy the box and sell off the guard team
Hmm.
because it's not going to match anything in their collection.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I think the box is a really good box to release. You know, me as a typical guard fan, I'm actually not excited about this box in the slightest. There seems to be no melee in it whatsoever, and I'm like a melee guy. Like I always ran hand axes on my guard, so,
Yeah.
so maybe to a surprise to a lot of people, I am not excited whatsoever about this box. I'm excited to paint them and get them, and then give them like a cool digital camo thing, but I'm more excited about Nemesis Claw because I do run narratives, right? I do those kinds of things. And in fact, I have started writing a way for the next narrative for people to bring Nemesis operatives, if it works. Otherwise, I'll have to figure out something else um, to the next narrative that we do for LVO. So you can bring like your required list will be like a kill team and like a big model. And if you don't bring a big model, then we'll have some big models that people can use. So pretty exciting. I think it'll be a lot of fun for people at LVO to like look at these people and be like, "Oh my gosh, that guy's playing with the dreadnought. What the heck is going?" You know, like it'll
Yeah,
be
for
fun,
sure.
right? So Looking
Well,
forward to it
thanks for
though.
having me on, Dakota.
Appreciate you, Warrior. You have a good rest of your night, and if you have anything else, make sure you throw it into the hot takes channel.
Will do. Bye.
All right. All right, Matt. That was an exciting one. Do you have any other thoughts about Nemesis operatives and or the possibilities that we could throw in as narrative stuff?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about it. Like I said, I think we're gonna, judging on the rules, I think we'll incorporate a couple of that into the Nova narrative for sure. I hope they give you like templates so you can kind of build your own, which would be neat.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it could be really cool and a lot of fun. Like I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited too. I have never been impressed with Games Workshop's big model rules. Like I was not impressed with the Satan when he came out and was like, "Oh, if he dies at 27 wounds, he just comes back to life." I'm like that's kind of whack, you
Yeah.
know? Or like their Carnifex only having 47 wounds and being able to get like two shot in like a turn or something like that seemed kind of weird to me. So I'm excited to see if this works or kind of see what kind of uh, double activations or triple activations that they add to these big models and kind of the overall kind of like rule set and stuff and kind of see what they do or if they've learned or it's going to be exciting for sure. I'm
I,
pretty excited about it.
I would like to see. I think it was in Big 40K, if I'm remembering correctly. They had a mechanic on some bigger models and characters that you can only do X amount of damage to them in a single attack.
Mm,
I think that would make a lot of sense for Kill Team. To
probably.
say you can't do more than 12 damage to it with a single attack. A single attack.
Hmm.
And
Or
I think
18
that
or something or
right. I think that would balance them out pretty well. So
mhm.
you're right, because like that defeats the purpose if someone runs up with like um who is it Tempest Scions. If they could run up and double tap with a melta gun and the thing just poofs away.
Yeah. One of the things that we did for our like super boss in the last narrative, we gave him like 96 wounds, so he was really difficult to kill.
Yeah,
He had a AP1 like damage mitigation, so you could only ever do a one AP like so like AP2 weapons would just do AP1 and then he would activate every 2d3 activations of enemy models. So on and then he had like this charge mechanic that he would just move terrain out of the way, so he could like get into combat cuz one of the other hard things about Kill Team is the base size. Typically, it looks like the base size max is a 50 millimeter model, right?
right.
Because all of the spacing in all of the maps GW's ever produced, they always have 2-inch gaps, right? So models can't not be placed somewhere. So it's going to be interesting to see how they might get around that kind of thing. Like, do you just move the light terrain out of the way? Do you destroy
Or
it?
you just have new design. I mean, you just do different layouts.
Yeah, that too. Bigger openings in the middle and stuff, making Pathfinders great again.
Yeah.
We have another hot take here. We're gonna pull on. I think it starts with an N. On my stream mode, I cannot. I think it's something Ranger. N Ranger. If you could come in here
Hey,
and hey, brother, tell us where you're calling in from and your name.
I'm Ryan. I'm calling in from outside Baltimore.
Oh,
I'm one of Orion's teammates.
oh,
So yeah,
what's up,
part of the Lives
man?
playing group. Yeah, yeah, no, good. Yeah, nice chat with you again.
Hmm.
I'm the guy who's always playing Jaegers.
Hell yeah, let's
So
go. So
so,
what's your hot take?
so I mean, my first hot take I'm thinking about for some time is I think that GW has a serious marketing issue when it comes to Kill Team in general.
Mm,
I
okay.
think the big problem is that I am still getting to this day people that are telling me that, oh yeah, Kill Team is just like mini 40k, or that it's like the entry point. You play Kill Team first and then you play 40k. That there is not there's still the sentiment from the first edition that
Hmm.
like, oh, Kill Team is the GW's entry point where you're supposed to play this and then move up to Big Hammer. But in reality, it's not the case at all. They're two very separate games, and they play very differently. We even had one of our new players literally went to a Games Workshop store, and they told him that Kill Team was simpler, and was like what was the best like way to get into 40k, like the main game.
Um, I don't think that they're wrong in the fact that you're learning how to play a tabletop game. You have to buy at least a unit of Space Marines or something to get into 40K, right? It is a completely different rule set. I will give you that. And also, okay, there was a time 2 years ago when I'm going to put this store on blast. Games Workshop Monrovia ran a kill team event, and they put in there that they're going to be 45-minute rounds. And
Yeah.
I called them and I was like, hey, surely you have to be kidding. I would like to go to this. Rounds take 2 hours. And they were like, nah. In the rule book, it says like 60 minutes. And I was like, that, and we can push them a little faster. I was like, nah, you can't. Okay, cool. Thanks. Peace. I'm not coming. You know? I would say that I don't know if every Games Workshop employee at a store would be the authority on how they wouldn't be an expert on how every game system is played. For instance, if I go to my local Games Workshop, you know, they might not know how AOS is played, you know what I mean? Or so on and so forth, you know? I doubt that they'd be an expert at every game system.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and I just think it comes down to more that like the game has evolved a great deal since.
It
I mean,
has.
I got into the game second edition, because I love Krieg and like just seeing the plastic models, like I have to get this,
Hell yeah.
and that's kind of got me into it, but like I think that people like a lot, especially like 40K players, they don't know what Kill Team actually is. So many people just see it as the tiny 40K where they don't know it's a whole different system, it's a whole different environment, and that there's a lot that you could really do with it, and it's a very different vibe that's also just a great game in general.
You want to take that one, Matt? I have.
Yeah, so like I think one of the problems we face is that, GW still considers Kill Team a second tier team. Like if you go, like I'm looking at the GW store page right now, and across the banner is 40K, AOS, Taurus Heresy, Old World, Middle Earth. Then you got to click more, right?
Other
And
game
then,
systems.
yeah, no, it just says more. It doesn't even say other game system. It just says
Jeez.
more. And then a little side menu opens up, and then you got to click other games, and then you'll find Kill Team.
Yeah.
So if you're someone new to the game, is like, hey, I heard this great game Kill Team from Games Workshop, you go to their page, there's nothing unless we have a new release, and then it's usually on the main page for pre-orders and stuff. There's nothing on their main page for Kill Team. So yeah, like I don't know what the sales numbers look like for us compared to other games. I do know our size compared to other games is pretty strong and growing.
Yes, it is.
Not 40K, mind you, but
Yeah.
some of their other stuff. But yeah, like we're definitely among the redheaded stepchildren of GW, and I don't think that's going to change. And I do think that they still do consider us kind of the gateway to 40K, especially when you see how often kill teams make their way into 40K, like either as a normal unit or a specialist unit or something. But usually our units are getting rules in 40K, so people can add them to their army.
Even Deathwatch. Deathwatch just got released as a brand new battle force or something from Adepticon,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I saw that. Is that on a kind of funny way? If you want to get like all like 10 models for Deathwatch, you can get that plus a Corvus Blackstar. That's a team and a display board right there.
Right,
Not
exactly.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's just like it definitely feels like it's kind of it's off, and like I feel like it could really almost stand on its own in some ways, but it's kind of in that weird place where it's like its growth is just in a weird spot, and I'm like, it kind of explained to us like, oh no, it's not 40K. It's it's much more tactical. It's much more individual models doing things. A whole different people want 40K. Oh, I want alternating activations. Well, we got alternating activations right here for you. So it's like there's a lot of stuff going on. It's like, but yeah, and then I I was trying to kind of get a new group spun up closer to where I just moved, and like I was getting new players coming in, but like what they were expecting coming in was not nowhere near what the game actually is.
Mm-hmm.
They were expecting like a 60-minute game for a new player. and just show up, and like the rules are just simple, just like bring your whole 40k army, grab a couple dudes, and then toss them on the board.
Which is
It wasn't. Yeah.
which is what Compendium basically was last edition, right?
Yeah.
And and I think all the new battle forces all have a kill team unit in them, don't they?
I know this new battle force, but I know they had recently had
Yes,
a bunch of new combat
they
patrols.
do.
The combat patrols. That's what I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
the combat patrols. Yeah,
Mhm.
all the combat patrols had they did something similar with like AOS or something like that as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew that was coming when they started, legacying the first edition teams. Not legacying, but whatever it is starts with a C, declassifying and classifying the teams. It
Yeah.
was just interesting to kind of see a brand new kill team also get a battle force box compared to just like novitiates, which was I think the sisters one. It's like novitiates plus a bunch of models and other stuff like that. This game, no matter what, isn't going to drive the amount of sales as it would to buy an entire army. So it just makes sense to kind of push them to 40K eventually, right? Because there's a lot of kill
Yeah.
team players that I know as well that have taken the jump to 40K because maybe they didn't like this edition very much, right? And that's all good for GW because you could always come back to kill team. You already have the models. But in order to sell more models, and they got to jump to 40K. So I don't think that you're wrong in the sense that, I think that this is the gateway to 40K, even though the subset of rules are a little different, you know. But I would say that a lot of 40K players don't necessarily swing to kill team side of the fence all the time. There are some, but there's not many.
Yeah.
It's tough for them because of the sunk cost, I think, of their armies. Right.
That and the rules, man. Like trying to learn 40. I used to be really good at 40K because I would memorize like all like 8 factions. Now I can be damned if I can memorize my own team because the rules bloat has grown so much. There was like 12 or 14 units back in the old codexes. You had like 6 psychic spells, and you can do I know like 86 operatives, and now it's like, okay, well now like Space Marines, the codex has that many things, and
plus all the
whatever
supplements.
else.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do have a hot take about that exact topic. If I can add it now or just wait later, but
Wait for the next one. We're gonna pull somebody else on.
Yeah, I'll make sure someone else gets their time.
Yeah, we will come back to you, brother. I appreciate you. Thanks for the call in, man.
Yeah, no problem. It's great chatting with you. And I'm hoping to I don't know if I can get out to LVO this year, but I'm trying to make it work because, Nova and LVO are so close to each other.
You are not wrong.
Especially now.
You are not wrong. Yeah, we're trying to hit 200 players this year, so it's gonna be massive. So
yeah,
the goal.
I know. Every time I've seen you at Nova, you're like, "Hey, come to LVO, come to LVO." I'm like, such a long flight. I'm like, I gotta figure it out, but I'm trying.
Hell yeah. Well, if you can't make it this year, there's always next year. I hope to go to Nova next year, so it should be good. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have. I said, who were we bringing up next? Give me 1 second, Matt. If I edit these things, this is the part that I would edit out. But sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes trying to find some of these, I have to find. I wrote it down. Carl's next. I don't remember half the hot takes, Carl, where are you calling in from, and what is what's your name other than Carl, and what's if that's not your real name, and what's your hot take?
So my name in the Bats Discord is Carl Second in Hobby.
Okay.
I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
My hot take is that Jimmy Kelly should not be earning ITC points for teams that he does not paint.
That's
which might
spicy.
be the spiciest hot take, because I like Jimmy. He's a cool guy, but like,
okay,
he's not painting those teams.
Well, he definitely painted the team at the Boys Bash.
The Goremongers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he also converted and bashed them and stuff like that. And it's in
Hmm.
fact one of his best teams that he's ever painted.
I don't know. I'm gonna need to see the receipts.
That's fair. That's fair. We'll have to get Jimmy Kelly to come out. This
Uh,
is like a straight personal jab right to Jimmy. And I don't even think Jimmy watches the channel anymore. So, take that, Jimmy.
yeah,
Maybe somebody will watch this and tell him that we're talking all this major shit about Jimmy.
exactly.
Yeah, and bring him back into the hobby, Matt, what do you so overall, you don't think that people should be awarded hobby points or hobby track points if they don't paint their own miniatures?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, Matt is actually a recent convert to hobby track in general. I have some thoughts on this. Matt, what do you think?
I guess, how do you prove it?
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's gonna be the problem, right? Like, how do you prove it unless the person who painted it comes forth and says, "Oh no, I painted that," in which case they're gonna lose all their business. Yeah, I don't know. I agree in principle that, yeah, like in paint judging, you should only be able to submit stuff that you painted. But that's my concern is how do you prove it?
So our chat is saying, Samo and Matt is saying, everyone has to start their own hobby YouTube page to prove their own
Right.
work.
Exactly.
But like that's the only way you're going to do it. It's like, let me take pictures with you and the daily newspaper. Go find one somewhere, and I that would be my problem. And then then a points are awarded, and someone goes, "Oh, I saw that team. I know that he didn't paint it." I don't know. I think that gets real ugly and real messy really fast.
So there was some drama from Tacoma like 2 years ago. I'm sure there's a couple people in here in the chat specifically that know about this. But somebody won, I think best painted. They got a bunch of pictures taken at Tacoma, and then they turned out that their team wasn't painted by them, right? And it caused some drama and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily know if the questions were asked or any of that kind of stuff. But there's a whole nother problem when we get to this, because I've commission painted for some people, and some of those people have been disabled, right? So if you say, I feel like if we do that, and it's almost like an ableist argument of saying like, hey, you can't score points because you can't paint or you haven't painted. You know what I mean? Which is a problem in general, right? I think that every organizer can come at this a different way, right? I think that the hobby track is there if your models are painted, right? If somebody tells me that their models are commission painted, they will not make it into showcase. They will not make it into the upper echelon brackets. They might make it into parade. They might make it into battle ready, depending on like kind of how I'm feeling or how the rest of the field looks, but that's my personal opinion, if your team is not painted by you. But I do think there is an argument that you should not win hobby track points if you didn't paint it, because I can see that argument. I just don't necessarily know if I agree with it. What about you, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's tough, right? Um, like who's going to admit it, right? If they're really being
There have been people that
different.
have straight just lied to my face. If anyone is from the Squad Games area, you probably know who that person is. They would
Now,
just say like, "Yeah, I painted this,"
I
and I'm
would,
like, "No, you didn't."
and then what about, so if they can't enter it, right? Could they enter it under the person who painted its name? But then conversely, you have the problem of artists doing a ton of commissions and racking up tons of points because they have all these people playing all over the country, all over the world, with their minis and winning prizes and events and getting hobby track points, right? Like, I mean, someone should get those points.
Yeah. So I recently went to the Cascade Clash, and
Mhm.
I took
How was that?
It was really fun. It was super fun. ABC Sean is a great TO. We had a great time. But I was going to say, I took a team that I commission painted for someone, but I played the team in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So it was still my team that I
Mm-hmm.
painted, but it was commission work for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way you do that, right? Like, I don't think to your point, Matt, I don't think you just give the points to the commission painter, because yes, then it would be nonsense.
Mm-hmm. So I think this is the great thing about this conversation is hobby track is not defined by Games Workshop, right? It's
Right.
not. It's not defined whatsoever, which allows people and scenes and the community in their areas to design and develop their own thing. Most people have kind of come to the idea of squad games because we kind of started the hobby track for 2 years before Games Workshop jumped on the bandwagon and took it over, right? And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people kind of conform to the ideas that we believe in, right? But if you look at any other hobby track system, you have to play the team that you are scoring at the event that you're playing in. You have to at least play one round, right, to get
Mm-hmm.
points for it. And that is kind of like the underlying metric. And then whether or not you played the team or not is kind of or you painted the team or not. I don't think that I have seen very many players win with a team that they did not paint unless if the
Right.
painter is actually at the event. Right. I have seen it happen where the painter's been at the event and then they're like, oh yeah, he's over there. He painted my team. If they win, like make sure that he gets it. You know what I mean? Of course, there's
Right.
people that have lied, and done other things. Um, but you know, for Jimmy Kelly at least, I could tell you that he does play with some people who paint his teams on occasion,
Uh-huh.
So do some of his kiddos, right? Um, but I know for a fact that sometimes he does play with his own painted teams, like his Navy Breachers. He took to Worlds, I think 2 years ago, and took last. Jimmy. Um, and so on and so forth. But there are other things that I don't think that I should punish a person. I would rather somebody come with a commission painted team than not a painted team at all.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I just think that if we create enough drama, then we'll get your ratings up and more people will listen.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I like the drama.
Yeah.
I like the drama. Yeah, it helps. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Carl.
Yep.
Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Bringing the house down with these takes today, Goodness gracious. All right. This show, Matt, if you didn't know, is just all about causing drama, creating drama, and now you're a part of it. So I hope you're ready.
Nice.
Next up, we have, I think it's Mike. Mike, if you're ready to jump in.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
We sure can, Mike. Where are you calling
All
in
right.
from today?
Oh, I'm in Los Al on my porch drinking a cup of coffee.
Nice. You said Los Al? Is that in,
Yep.
where's that at?
Oh, SoCal.
SoCal, California. Awesome. What is your hot take?
You know what? I've actually, I'm first thing I guess I'll jump a little bit in here because once upon a time I was involved in the Japanese car scene when in Japan when I was over there, and how they handled the whole painting, non-painting thing, because most guys don't, is that you hold a separate award for best painter, which goes beyond just being best painted. That way you can still get your hobby points in for whoever brings one, but you can always highlight a painter even if he's not the guy who played it. But I don't know, at some point you just got so many awards. But as far as hot takes go, I would say, I talked a lot of shit on the sisters and the Crute, but not Crute, but the Cadians not being catechins. But I would say I'd like to see more Crute in this game. Like, if we kept ones that don't normally fit the base sizes or anything else, bring them as Nemesis. You can bring all kinds of new guys too. And seeing as in reverse of the kill team being the stepping stone to 40K, instead I usually see kill team as being a stepping stone of having new models brought into 40K. So let's have some more crew for 40K too. If they want to make money, they can sell to both teams, both guys.
All right. Matt, what do you think?
I mean, they got a whole team, but I do know there's some of their big guys are, what is it? The Narlax are kind of cool looking.
The Ravagers, those big Rampagers, those big guys.
Is that what they call them now? Okay, I'm old. When they first came
Well,
out, they were.
Narlax is the big
They're
chompy guy.
Krutox.
Is the what?
Yeah. He's a big chompy guy. It's like the big,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
what I was
a
thinking,
bigger
yeah.
version of your Krutox.
Yeah, like they would be interesting and stuff. I remember back when when I was playing 40K, they gave you like Kroot mutations you could pick. And
Yeah.
you could build like flying Kroot and all sorts of other crazy stuff with them. So yeah, it'd be interesting.
I mean, I'd be down for it. Little swarms of them that eat people. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of towed out. I'm not gonna lie. You know, we have seen a lot of elite teams and a lot of Tau this edition. I would like to see another elf team. I would like to see for Xenos wise. I would like to see another elf team, and I would like to see. There's like a plethora of other Xenos that should come before another Kroot. I could see them releasing another Kroot before this Kroot team becomes classified, but I don't really know what they would do other than releasing like another troop kit, or maybe they have like a bunch of like knob like Kroot, which would be really cool. Like some really big looking Kroot, coming out, maybe like a 7-man team or an 8-man team or something that could be cool.
Could be a cool
then
narrative box.
The what?
Could be a cool narrative box.
Yeah, it'd be a cool narrative box, but I mean, if we get another narrative box, they would also pitch another way to play the game, right?
Oh yeah.
But like we have this 10-man or 11-man guard team coming out. I think that I could pass on another Kroot team. I love Kroot, don't get me wrong, but like I would rather see them like bring back Compendium, than see another kind of Kroot team come out. Just make all these classified teams into Compendium teams eventually, Maybe not all of them, just maybe a selection for, I think I'd prefer to see Kroot come back than a whole new line of miniatures.
Well, since you brought up the guardsmen, why the hell are they not catechins?
I have no idea. I don't make the decisions at Games Workshop.
I saw the cloaks and I was like, I got excited, and then I looked closer. I was like, oh shit, they're Cadians again.
Yeah, I think I would be. It's just Cadians and Steel Legion, or what Death Corps at this point in time. I think Death Corps and Steel Legion are the literal same models. Yeah, I don't really want to jump into that rabbit hole because I have my own thoughts and feelings and hurt feelings about it.
Well, share them. That's what this is for.
Yeah, I know. I can't get too salty. We got to keep it positive, okay? Even though Dakota in this inside is a sad boy, a sad boy about being like, hey, we got a new guard team. That means we won't see another Catachan for at least 4 years, So
wait, you know how much I love Sisters, and I was so excited when I saw the Insidians team, and then once I got the models and I put them together, half the models are badass, and the other of them just seem phoned in. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen a model shaped like an L with the gun held in one weird angle and the weapon held straight to their side.
When models have a lot of power armor, they don't have a great range of mobility. So I'm just saying, I thought they were pretty dope,
I like half of them. Half of them
I would say they're not very dynamic.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're not super dynamic, but
No.
Yeah.
But that's what kit bashing's for.
Yeah, I would say that I'm not on the Kroot wagon, so.
Yeah. Well, I just like the idea of being able to see some of the big models on a board.
That's fair. Well, Mike, thanks for jumping in. Been
missing
you. Haven't seen you in a while, so thanks for calling in. And hell yeah,
I got sidetracked by Trench Crusade pretty hard.
That's fair. Trench Crusade's pretty cool. I don't blame you. All right, Mike. Appreciate you. We're gonna pull on the next caller here.
All right, later, dudes.
Later, buddy. Next up, we're going to be calling in a Squad Games bona fide legend. He does our stats. Is he even in here? He is. There he is. Okay, we're going to be calling in David. David, for all of you that are in on the joke, he lives in my basement in California, and I force him to do stats for us. You know, he doesn't have a life, so Kill Team stats take too much of his time. David, you are muted. I'm sure David is figuring out his technical difficulties. Maybe I can read his, if I can find it. This becomes a little bit harder to track, you know?
He says
Well,
he's
it's
going to
nice.
pass until he can figure it out.
Okay, he's going to pass until he can figure it out. So we'll move him back to the audience. So we will wait on him. We're going to be bringing in another Kill Team legend. In fact, probably Matt, one that you know personally, bringing in Sheldon. Sheldon, where are you calling in from?
What up? I am currently driving through Berkeley.
Oh,
Good to see you, Matt.
Good to see you too, Sheldon.
Yeah, the hot take I've got prepared for you today, I know is spicy because it has just been the subject of a bats civil war all day.
oh, wow. A bat civil
we
war.
are we were fighting good and dirty about it. We have like an internal sort of like ranking system thing for the bats in our team.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a
I've
big
heard of
fight
these
about
things.
whether or not declassified events should count for said rank. And so my hot take to you is that I personally think declassified events are more competitive than classified events.
Oh, they are.
Because you're dealing with more teams, there's more things that you have to remember, more potential matchups that you have to deal with.
Uh-huh.
I think if a player can do well in a declassified event, that's harder than at a classified event. And yeah, so that's the crux of my argument.
Love it. Love it. We get to talk shit about all the bats without them being able to defend themselves. Matt, what is your initial thoughts on this?
I think I generally disagree with Sheldon's take there. I'll be honest with you.
You think classified events are more competitive?
I think classified events are better for the game.
Do you think they're more competitive? Because that's the take.
I don't know. I mean, I can make an event a lot more competitive in a lot of other ways, right? Like, I can like turn the lights down, and I actually the tournament I was at yesterday was 90-minute rounds, by the way.
What the? Oh,
yeah.
I saw somebody. Okay, that's crazy. Why would they do that?
And I didn't realize it until I got there, and I brought Chaos Cult.
Insane.
Wait, did you just say that playing with no lights is more competitive?
Well, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way to make the game harder. Like, here's my problem, right?
Yeah.
The more teams there are, the harder it is to balance the game. And the more teams there are, it's harder for any given player, new or old, to understand fully what's across the table from them. And that leads to gotcha moments, that leads to feel bads, that leads to, wait, the rule says what? Here, let me see that rule, let me read that. It just, I think it does drag the game down a bit to not, with how many teams we're getting new each edition now. I think
so
it does.
Wouldn't the older teams be better for that because they've been around longer for us to practice their rules versus the rules
Sheldon's
for some
cooking.
team that literally just came out this week?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, like, there are tons of declassified teams that I couldn't tell you half their rules for still. You know, I think they're, like I said, I think they're fine for like local events. Like, I'm not of the camp. It's like, oh, you got to ban them and everything. I think they're fine in games and stuff. But I just see them, I don't know. I think the game is better classified. I look at it kind of like Magic does in some ways, where there's many other games that have been around for a long time that do have some level of rotation. They admit, look, we can't balance the game off of 6 years of releases. Like I think, and it's just huge. We just have so many teams now.
So you think Murder Wing and like Wolf Scouts are balanced?
No, I never said that at all. I never said that at all.
I'm just joking.
I know, but I mean, I think that GW's focus can be more on those teams. Now they say they're going to keep balancing declassified teams. I'll be honest, I'll believe when I see it because it seemed like they stopped.
They just had a huge data slate giving a bunch of buffs to a bunch of teams that didn't go to Worlds, which are now all declassifieds.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, like I don't know. Like I said, from my perspective, I think there is rules bloat. I think what makes this a difficult game for newcomers to come to, if we're talking about bringing in new players, is team rules, right? Like, and the core rules are very streamlined. They're mostly easy to understand, but then you get into team rules. And I always have to introduce, whenever I bring in a new player, I have to say, listen, I'm going to teach you the game with the core rules. Just know there's not a single rule I'm going to tell you about that some team doesn't break at some point. Right? Like,
well, yeah.
And I think that can be very daunting for new players, is just to see, wait, there's 20 teams? Holy cow, I've never played this team before. Well, here's their trick and here's their gotcha moment. You know, I don't know. Like, I don't like protest, declassified events. I think they're fine. I'll go to them and I think they're great for local, but I think it is a stronger game for having classified.
I think
disagree.
that like when it comes to like I just want to real quick address something specifically that he said, and then you can go into your whole
Let's go
thing. But I just want to say that the rules bloat issue, I think, is made the worst by new teams, not necessarily the old teams. Like I've played 200 games against Vet Guard. If I see a Vet Guard, I know exactly what they're gonna do. But the week after Murder Wing comes out, and everybody's like, "What the heck is this team? They fly. They can just what are they doing?" That's what really screws the new players at an event. And
I'll definitely agree with that. But the thing is, GW has to make new teams to make new money. Otherwise, they're not going to keep the game anymore, right? Like they have to make.
Yeah. But I don't think that you could say that classified fixes that problem, because it's going to have that exact same issue.
It alleviates the problem. Let me say it better. I think it alleviates the problem created by GW's a business. They're going to make money. They're going to have to keep putting models out. Fair. And again,
So I think that competitiveness doesn't necessarily spawn from like an event that's harder, right? So I don't know if I can 100% agree with Sheldon's take that it's more competitive. I could speak on your bats discussion and my opinions to it, which I think is quite a silly argument. But I would say that I think declassified events are not less competitive because they have more teams. I don't think that just because it's harder, like we've had these teams for the longest time. They're the simplest teams to understand outside of Warp Coven, and then like Void Dancers and the Novitiates, which I still don't understand to this day. There are a couple of those teams that have issues that we have in this edition, and some of like the rules bloat that we see, right? In fact, I would actually say that if you just ran a strictly declassified event, that would be more competitive because we would have a lesser pool to draw from. Because competitive, when we say competitive is mostly the least amount of variables, right? To me, I think that is, we don't play Kill Team because it's a balanced game, right? We play Kill Team because we like the lore and we like to play with unbalanced teams, right? That's why you see everyone jumping around to different teams and you see
I don't know if I'd say that people want to play with unbalanced teams. I would think that people want to play with unique teams, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
People want to play with teams with like varying, like, you know, like the reason that StarCraft was so good is because all the teams were balanced, but they all did the game completely differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that people want that sort of like, you know, like this is an A kind of team, this is a B kind of team, this is a C kind of team. You know, this one's a horde, this one's an elite team, this one's melee, this one's shooting. You know, but I think that they generally, most players, if they had the choice, would want those teams to be balanced so that that game is close. You know, like you don't know who's going to win until maybe the last moment or until a key thing happens in the game. You don't want to just be like, oh, well, this team's the best team in the game, so it's just always going to win.
Yeah.
What was the crux of the bats argument, by the way, for me and anyone else who is not privy?
Oh yeah, so we were arguing whether or not classified or declassified events, like events that run declassified teams, should count as like points for our like internal team tracking.
And like
Yeah.
ITC and stuff, or what?
No, it's like it's basically an internal team flex thing that we've got going on.
I think it's silly.
They should count. Like I think they should count. Yeah, I mean, I think they're still events. I think they're valid events. Like I wouldn't put them as some, sub event, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think they would count. Like if like you're talking about like any, like for me, like ITC or something, I'd say, yeah, absolutely have them count.
Yeah, I think it's really silly to like swallow the red pill of Games Workshop. And this is the reason why I created Squad Ops. I think it's ridiculous to swallow every single thing Games Workshop tells you, right? Like, sure, they create the game and they probably know best on a lot of things, right? But there are other ways to play the game of Kill Team, right? The game has become so rules is written, right? That it is soul draining sometimes to have these people like find different ways to break the game, and then you have to come up, like me or Matt have to come up with a way to be like, are you fucking kidding me? This is a thing now, and now we have to fix this, like it is absolutely soul draining. So the fact that like Games Workshop, like it's silly that this is an argument when people aren't up in arms about climbing being an issue, right? Or any of these other plethora of arguments that we have in Kill Team, and we're arguing if declassified, like we're still arguing about declassified and classified, right? It's just like this weird metric that they want to put on people to like sell more teams. It's like,
well, I understand why a company has like GW has to do this, like for like their events, for stuff like Worlds or whatever. Like, I think it makes sense to have like a rotation in general, like as a way of like, because otherwise, what incentive is there for somebody who bought Commandos and has been playing Commandos for 5 years to ever buy a new team if they like Commandos, right? I don't think that they should make that Commandos team, like as a player, I don't think that they should ever make that team unviable for the game. That to me is like, well, what are you supposed to do with those models? So I as the player don't want that, but as a company, I can understand why they might want that, But I think that like, if you're talking about balance, if you're talking about gotcha moments and teams with like things that are breaking the game, like theoretically, the ones that would be least likely to do that would be declassified teams, because they've been around for 5+ years, and all those kinks have been worked out, versus like Murder Wing comes out and it's like, oh, how does this interact with this rule, and how does this interact with Vantage level 2, or and can they I don't know.
Yeah, I think the crux of everything is that the players should decide how to play the game. And I think that I'm frustrated that every single player just kind of is so uncreative and just follows the strict line of thought. It's kind of frustrating. It frustrates me. The fact that I had to make a video on climb because people don't know how to climb, I mean, there's a lot of different aspects to this whole thing in general, right? So, and I think that I think this declassified thing is just kind of like this weird, throw it out there, because imagine this. What if Games Workshop also declassified terrain as TOs,
I mean,
Matt?
they've already done that.
What if you were not allowed to run ITD anymore? You know what I mean?
Well,
I can't run Arena anymore.
Yeah, but that's an addition change,
I'll say this. I mean, GW actually handled it really well. Like other games and stuff would be like, you can't play this, period, right? They said, for our balancing, we think there should be these two modes, but you can keep doing whatever you want. But I'll say about terrain, I played in a tournament with Octarius terrain. It is terrible. Like, I wish they wouldn't even just declassify it. I wish there would, and I have like several sets of Octarius. I wish GW had a button that would melt it all down, because like you don't realize how like nice it is not living in a world of Alpha Strike anymore. And Octarius brings you right back into the world of Alpha Strike, and it is hard.
Matt, I think I gave you some of those sets of Octarius, didn't I?
You might have.
I gave you all my like Vertigus and Octarius sets, I think.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's great to have both aspects. I think that it's silly to say that one event is less than others, because to be honest, LVO is not going to be fully classified. And I think it's silly to be like, well, if we go to LVO, whatever you play doesn't count. That's just silly.
Well,
like it's the biggest event in the world. Like what are we talking about?
Nova's good and the team tournament and the GT at Nova are both going to be classified. And I think living in a world where both exist, I think is a good thing.
I think it's a great thing, because then people can go to these places and experience something else for something that an organizer wants to put on. In fact, I think that is the best thing for the game. Like, for instance, like we classified some teams because some of those teams are not only problems, but also like they've never sold a box for. You know what I mean? I have still seen some kill teams that are declassified still being sold in Games Workshop stores.
Also, as a tournament organizer, if your event is declassified, you theoretically can get more people. I mean, it might not happen, but your ability to draw more people is greatly enhanced by you allowing more teams than being more restrictive, right?
Yeah, and then also, like, what if your scene only plays with like Phobos and other things, and then you, as an organizer, you're going to force them to go buy new teams? It doesn't really make any sense. I think it's like I think that Games Workshop handled it really well, like Matt said, by saying like, "Hey, you can go out and you have the control to do this. We suggest you do this, but you should do this." But unfortunately, we have a lot of people in the community that are really loud on the internet that are just like, "Hey, Games Workshop suggests you do this, or it's not valid." You know what I mean?
To be fair, we're being loud on the internet right now.
You are right. That's why you shouldn't listen to anyone on the internet. We're just nobodies. I live in the fucking flat in California. Like you just listen.
Hey,
to hear
you're
the drama.
somebody to me. You guys are somebodies to me. All right,
Sheldon, you're somebody to me too, man. I love you, man.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I knew this would be a hot take because it's been an argument all day. So I'm glad we were able to.
Shit, I argue all this time. Yeah. I argue. That's a very passionate subject for me, Matt. If you could not tell. Let's see here. We have Salty up next. Let's see here. Can we pull Salty? I don't think Salty's been on the channel yet.
Hello.
Hello, Salty. Where are you calling in from? If it's not Salt Lake, Utah, you are missing out.
It's close. It's the middle of nowhere, Wyoming.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Were you? What's your hot take?
Well, the one that I feel the most passionate about is people who pay attention to win rates numbers are missing the point of the game.
Interesting. Okay, so you think? Let me re-clarify that. You think that people talking about win rates are missing the point of the game?
Not so much talking about win rates, but we have a lot of people in our local group who base what teams they play based off of win rate numbers.
Interesting. You're throwing out shots locally. I like it. Okay.
And it's like we host events up here. We're kind of centrally located in the state. People come up from like all over the state. People who drive hours just to come play Kill Team with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, it's really nice to see everybody playing Murder Wing and Wolf Scouts today.
That's fair. I would say that I can agree and disagree with your take. Matt, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I definitely agree with his take. If you shouldn't, the only thing we should be looking at win rates is to see what needs balancing. But if as a player, as a choice, you got to play what's fun for you. Now, I will say, getting dumpstered every game isn't fun for most people, right? So most people are going to want to play a team that does pretty well. But I think people need to really focus on whatever's most fun for them. And I think that's going to keep you the happiest in this game for sure. Like a great example is people talk about, the thing about Cryptek is they're still a very good team. They have really good win rates. They're just boring as hell to play, and people don't like actually playing them. So why suffer through that? No, I say, play what's fun for you for sure.
I agree. Play with what's fun for you. And if your fun thing is to win and you have to drive a few hours to get to a game store, and maybe you want to take that hot team, So I get why people are trying to do it, because maybe if they're investing so much time, they would like to win or try this new team or team that seems really overpowered or something like that. I could totally see the reason why someone's doing that. But if they are just basing it strictly off of a win rate, I disagree that is the teams that you should be playing in Kill Team. So if your goal is to win and to try to see what everyone else is seeing and trying to learn a team, sure, you got to play those broken teams while they last, right? Because some people only get to play like one game a month, and if they want to try, Wolf Scouts before they get nerfed again, I can see why. But if their goal is just to play a team that they think is broken because of the win rate, like you said, then I think that's an objective problem for the area or the meta, right? Like you might want to obviously there has to be something else. It can't just be pure win rate, is it?
I mean, most of the time it boils down to everyone in our local play area loves Space Marines.
Okay.
Finding someone who doesn't play a Space Marine team is, well, you'd have an easier time getting blood out of a rock. And it's just, we are oversaturated with elite teams in our local meta to the point that, like, I like playing, my favorite team is Aquilons.
There we go.
And I just run
The double
around with my little guys in jump packs, and I'm just surrounded on all sides by Murder Wing, Wolf Scouts, Death Watch, Angels, Nemclaw, Warp Coven. Like, if it isn't a Astartes team, it's represented in multiple numbers in our local community. Whereas, I think it's like 4 of us who don't play Astartes teams every time we play the game.
I mean, there's a reason why they made so many elite teams, and it got worse because they have made so many elite teams. There is an oversaturation with this edition, specifically with elite teams, right? So, and also I think that I see that a lot in my own meta. Like if it's not Space Marines, people are playing Rekkas. At LVO in January, there was a huge amount of elite teams. It was kind of wild, right? And it's never really gone away because Space Marines are really popular. You might be able to ask your locals and be like, "Hey, dude, could you play like a different team, like Kroot or like Eldar?" And they'll be like, "Die, Xenos, die!"
Basically, yeah. As the guy who helps organize most of our local stuff, it's very funny to hey, here's the best coast pairing thing. Go put your stuff in, put what your team you're going to play so I know what to bring, because I'm the guy who brings all the terrain and all the cards and all the stuff. And it's just like, oh, wow. So everyone's bringing 6 models and all of them are hyper lethal. Cool. Amazing. My favorite.
Yeah, I mean, you should try the Matt aspect and take on, Chaos Cult. Like show those Space Marines who's boss.
See,
I mean,
my
2 Meltas
go-to
will
when
do
I
it,
feel like
but
when I feel like absolutely just messing with my fellow Astartes players, because I'm not immune to this. I have basically every Astartes team as well. But when I feel like absolutely just flipping the script, I play my second favorite team, Stealth Suits.
another 6-man team.
Yeah. But they're the sneaky 6-man team who's really like 5 with 2 discs that can do things sometimes.
I mean, that's fair. That is fair. And also, they play fundamentally different than pretty much every other elite team outside of maybe Raveners. Raveners also fundamentally play different as well. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's different. That's difficult. Because if everyone enjoys playing Space Marines in your area, that's a scene problem. Or maybe you just have to have a couple new people, move out there and be dedicated Eldar players.
See, that's what's slowly been happening. We've been getting more and more and more people into playing Kill Team in our local community, and it's like,
that's awesome.
Hey, here's this wall full of Kill Team boxes you can buy, and 9 times out of 10, it's like there's the Space Marines up at the top, like Nemesis, Claw, and whatever have you, and they'll go like, Hey, what's Battle Clays? I'm like, oh, you're in for a fun time.
Oh no, Battleclade, man! I don't think I could ever play that team. I think my brain would literally explode from the inside.
My best friend just picked it up, and I'm like, you already enjoy teams that underperform. His favorite team to play is Scouts.
Yeah, some people are like that though.
All the power to you, and he plays them very well. He has tabled me a great many times with Scouts just by being a better strategist than I. But he picked up Battleclad, and I'm like, I hope you like more complex things.
Matt,
I can't say anything. I play Canoptic.
That's fair. Canoptic's dope, though. Matt, has your scene also been like really heavy with elite teams?
Not at all, actually. Most events I go to have a really good mix. And I mean, they'll be in there. Like yesterday, we only had one Space Wolf player. And that was it. No Murder Wing, no Cryptech. Another event I was at about a month or so ago, I think maybe again 1 or 2 elite teams. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's at least for me, I'm happy I'm not seeing it. I mean, the other thing you could always just do is find those hard elite team counters and start bringing them. Bring your Mandrakes, bring your Casterkins, and just be like, yeah, you want to bring elites? Okay. Let's go.
It brings me so much pride to shoot Marines off the board with Casterkin is my favorite.
Or do an all Tomb World tournament to spike those Murder Wing players. Honestly, I think that's the biggest problem with Murder Wing is I don't think people play enough close confine maps. I think
everyone in my local play group is they love Volcus. Like everyone I know has bought the Hivestorm box and it's like, oh yeah, urban terrain. This is really sick. And there's me who has Volcus. 4 sets of ITD and 2 Tomb Worlds and
force Murder Wing to play at least 50-50 and their win rate tanks. All of their rules just go out the window when they're on a close confines board. So I think there's fixes. I mean that's what Ace did at Worlds, right? He played into the meta. He's like, well, everyone's going to bring elites. I think Mandrakes are the strongest counter to elites, so that's what I'm going to bring, and it served him well. And I think, I think that's another thing you could start doing and then really start throwing them for a loop because then they're like, well, oh, I'm going to play this top tier team, but then I'm going to lose to Carsicans. Well, what's their counter? And then everyone's going to start probably being a little bit more diffuse.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of our community is still super, super young here. I've been playing Kill Team only for the better part of the last year and a half. And our local group of people that's been slowly growing has only really exploded in the last, I think it kind of kicked off right when Tomb World came out.
Okay.
And we've just been only getting elites every release since then. So it kind of checks out.
That's fair. I think the last few big events that I've been to definitely was extremely elite heavy. That's outside of like narrative, right? Because we've ran a couple narrative events lately. Um, LVO and then Worlds and then PSO were all pretty heavy on elites. So I don't think that I think that your experience a very normal thing in most areas, maybe not every area, like Matt has said, but a lot of areas, you know. So
I'm interested to see how it's going to go because I'm going to my first like major tournament in May.
ooh, exciting.
So we'll see how it goes there. I'm
Which
on the
event
fence
so
on.
that we
I'm
can
going
give them a
to
shout out.
RMO in Denver.
Oh, RMO. I love
Yeah.
I've been working with those guys and working with FLG to make sure, FLG's more successful in the kill team scene, and the RMO guys are going to do a great job. You know, they've been really really pushing it. So that's exciting. You got your ticket? Did you get your ticket after they sold
Yeah.
out, or
No, I bought my ticket back in like January.
hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. That's exciting,
Yeah.
man. And I know they're going to treat you to a good time. So
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great
yeah.
time.
Consider coming to LVO, you know? It's going to
Actually
be crazy.
me and my local play group were just talking about figuring out how to work out to get to Vegas in October.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's my wedding
Just-
anniversary. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay. If my wife is letting me go, and I have a 3-month-old baby that I have to leave at home with my wife, you can do it. Okay. There's no excuses anymore. Right.
Fair enough.
So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much for the
No
call
problem.
and hopefully I get to meet you in October. And if I don't, if I do, come say what's up. If not, love from Cali. All right.
Absolutely. Have a good night, guys.
Later, brother. All right. I think we should try to pull David on again. Is David ready for us? That's the question. Matt, what have you thought about hot takes before? You've listened in a couple times. How's this been for you?
It's been good. I've enjoyed being on, and I've enjoyed listening to it in the past. I usually, obviously I'm on East Coast time, so it gets kind of late. But I like it.
Hell yeah. It's been a very fun thing to kind of to kind of do with the community, kind of give everyone a little bit more of a voice. David, have you figured out your microphone yet? Because it still looks like you're on mute. Doesn't look like it, David. You're killing me, David. You're killing me. Nope, it doesn't look like it. So, David, we're gonna let you try to figure that one out. That's the problem with live shows, everyone. Sometimes things don't go the way all the time. It looks like we only have 2 hot takes left. It looks like we have one of somebody calling me an anarchist for Kill Team. So we're gonna bring that one on, and then we'll. Can you?
I can.
You can hear David and I can't. Maybe I muted David. Hold on. I did mute David.
You know what? That sounds like something you would do to me. Honestly, I'm not surprised at all. Sitting there racking my brain. Dakota has me on mute. What jerk?
Yeah, I literally had muted David. It must have been.
This is why I steal all your paints and drink them while you're not looking.
And David, we've talked about this. This is why you're bald. You got to stop drinking.
No, I was bald before I met you, Dakota. You're just lucky to have me.
That's fair. David, it's nice to have you on. Sorry about that, everyone. Like I said, live shows, sometimes we got those issues,
This is sabotage. Everybody
Popov is saying it's the ultimate show of
sabotage.
Dominance. Oh my God. I love Popov. Shout out to Popov. All right.
Yeah, cold take. Shout out to Popov. Start off with the cold take.
Go ahead and give us your hot take, David. And David, where are you calling in from specifically?
Your basement. Duh. You already introduced me like that.
You are right. Go ahead, brother. What's your hot take?
All right. So this is going to be because I've been playing Jaegers more recently, and I'm loving this team. But I was thinking on movement, and I kind of want to put out there that I think short models should not have an accessible tax, because a lot of these short models already have small distances to go through. I mean, look at these hatchways. Look at these things we can all fit through. We got plenty of headroom. Not like having a Space Marine have to kind of like side saddle through that open porthole to get through. You know, give up that 1-inch tax for these short models.
I mean, that's a hot take. That's the core change in the game. I definitely did something for these short teams in squad ops. Matt, what do you think about this?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean,
I think it's dope.
Is it all 5-inch move teams or is this short teams?
No, screw Plague Marines.
I was gonna say Plague Marines,
Dwarves, Ratlings, and you know what? Well, the Grot isn't really good, but they're on the Squigs too. They're short.
I mean, they are all dirty mutants, and they're getting kind of what's coming to them. So
we
I don't know.
friends. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'd have to think about that one. That's an interesting one, just because.
Yeah, I've experienced on both sides. It's like myself is like, oh, wow, yeah, that 5-inch movement and paying an extra inch just to walk through a door, I can't make that charge. And I've also had a lot of people disappointed when they can't come at me too. It's like, it just feels bad. Give these short guys some headroom and let them go through an accessible without it.
Yeah, I play Vespid sometimes, and I mean I feel the hatch tax really sucks. Like, let me tell you.
Yeah, I would agree with David. I think that the short teams, I don't like innately the 5-inch teams. I wouldn't necessarily play just a full 5-inch team. You only get to move your models 4 times, right? And typically you're limiting yourself to 20 inches of movement if you're not doing a charge, right? So for squad ops, if you're not familiar, we added a rule called natural sprinters that if you have 5-inch movement, you start the battle in your kill zones in your deployment area, then you have a 6-inch move, even if you had a 5-inch move, right? But Jaegers, if you're starting outside of it, they don't get the 5-inch or they don't get the 6-inch, right? I think that short teams should get something. I'm specifically just trying to pat the little dwarf players on the back because I've been written to their book so many times that I hate dwarves. This is me trying to help the dwarf community out.
Not Plague Marines.
Not
we need to specify not Plague Marines.
I actually don't mind if it's turning point 1 on Plague Marines. Or,
okay, what? You can do that. I'm talking. Let's get some GW rules, not just squad ops. I wanted to go in the book.
But I think like going through accessible, I don't think that's a bad thing. Like you're already limiting yourself to basically being injured or something. I don't innately dislike it. It might buff the win rate of some of these teams. I don't think there's any team outside of Canoptic that has a 5-inch move that's not totally like not good right now. Plague Marines are not great right now. No dwarf team is good right now.
Battleclade, right?
Say what? Battleclade? Do Battleclade have 5-inch? Yeah, but they suck too. They have one of the worst win rates in the game.
Yeah, most of their guys have 5. I would actually say, I think for the hot take, I'd take it a step further and just get rid of the accessible tax.
I didn't want to do that because I'm prejudiced against lots of things. Give me my dwarves, their bonus.
I love that idea, Matt. I love that idea. I think that maybe the accessible could stay if the door never opens, like on Volcus or something like that. But on ITD, just remove it. Like, why even have it in the first place? Are we trying?
Like you tuck in, you go right through. I wouldn't have to slow down to run through an open door, right? Like, you're
not wrong.
You're also not a 20-foot Space Marine.
Yeah, but I mean, most of these guys aren't. I mean, a 20-foot Space Marine doesn't slow down to run through a wall. Like,
that's true. That's true.
Like they just Kool-Aid man through that thing. But yeah,
that's
like
different Into the Dark though.
And no one's really,
man. They have walls of things.
I don't even think people are really running in like thematically speaking, they're running. It's more of tactical advances. That's what they call a reposition. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would go a step further and just get rid of the 1-inch get rid of the accessible rule, period. Like no more, or don't get rid of that penalty, period. I don't like it in this edition.
I wouldn't be against that, to be honest, but I like the whole thematic. Like these guys, they've got another 1.5 feet above them of door. Let them run through.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm also not against like the linking of climbing and dash while climbing.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree.
Climbing again, Dakota. You just did a video about this.
Yeah, and half the people hate me because of it.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, speaking of, little legs, like there are pieces of terrain that 5-inch models can't climb, and I agree with you there, Dakota. Letting them move dash, I think, would fix that as well.
It would have fixed it from the beginning of the edition when razor wire was I think a 2-inch tax. Right? I don't know if anyone remembers that.
It was 4 inches to climb that thing. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then Space Marines or any 32 mil models couldn't really get over it, especially if it was placed in front of a door on Volcus, or because they used to be able to place within 2. Like, it was absolutely so broken. There are a couple things that I hope for the next edition, the whoever's developing this game is paying attention. Thank you, Alexander Popov, for supporting the channel, for subscribing for 8 months. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, he must like this, like, get rid of accessible thing. He's on board.
I would also love, if we're talking about wish list, an action that lets you remove a piece of player placed terrain.
That would be nice, even if it costs 2 APL, something.
You bought 2 APL, you can smash the comms, you can kick down a ladder, kick over a barricade. These things shouldn't be all that hard, and just
kicking down ladders would be sick.
Right? I'm totally for that. Especially my declassified commandos, just zip line over to the top, kick the ladder over before the dwarves have a chance to climb up it. I'm all for that.
I mean, that's something that you could see that little grot doing, right? Like, go kick down that ladder for us, dude. And he'll just do it.
A new universal action, and maybe like any heavy piece of player placed terrain, you had to like use 2 APL to remove instead.
I think that would work too.
Yeah. Matt,
give everybody natural wire cutters for razor wire.
I mean, everyone's got a knife, right? Like you got a guy with a power sword, can't cut through razor wire?
No, razor wire is the ultimate.
Right? Impervious.
It's lost technology. Just like dropping and climbing down.
Guy with the melta gun can't do it either, Like, I mean, we got breaching charges now.
Mm-hmm. Which is awesome.
Yeah, I think that was a great addition.
Doors. I would agree.
Yeah, I think that was a great addition. Give everyone breaching charges.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot we had it.
Hell yeah. Well, David, thank you for the hot take. I appreciate you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right, we have looks like Sean. If anyone else wants to put in their hot takes, it looks like Sean might be the last, unless if somebody else puts a hot take in, or if Matt has something that spawned over his mind, or maybe if I come up with something. Here we go. All right, Sean, try to keep it to one hot take this time, sir, just in case if we do get another one.
No, I'm the last. Sorry, guys, for closing up. I'm the best. I'm
Kill
the last.
Team Stream he just offered a sub, gifted a sub. Thank you, Sheldon. Appreciate you, man.
Love that. Sheldon's still a boomer though. But I love Sheldon. So hot take, you are an anarchist for Kill Team. People begged for standardization from GW, and then you waited like a snake until everybody got too comfortable with it and started saying the game was boring, and then you were just like, it's bad, we should just destroy it, light it all on fire, watch this YouTube video series, and everybody was like, yes, burn it down. So yes, you were an anarchist for the game. I love that about you, but you're shaking things up. Also, hello, Matt. We don't get to chat online very often other than complaining about bad rules. That was what made me post a hot take, was you guys talking about that. It's like, our local players, and I swear with CPTS, even some of our co-TOs for CPTS will come up with these rules things where we all just kind of, like, I can see it through the chat of us just staring at each other like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, I'm gonna have to look this up and cross-reference 5 different pages in the book, because it is, of course, a choose your own adventure book when you're looking at rules.
Yeah, that's why, as a TO, first thing anyone ever does when they ask me a rule question or a rule interaction, it's just like, let me look it up.
David, thank you for the subs.
You pull it up, if anything. Like, you show me.
Like, show me the rule, or I'll pull it up. But yeah, I any rules questions, I have to always.
Yeah, because it's all in the wording.
Yep.
And that was my actual hot take, was something that happened recently, was that is players, I love you, all of you listening, you guys are the best. Thank you for helping make all of our events happen. We love you. please, I swear to God, with some of these rules reads, I need just a little bit of faith for us as TOs. We put in all this work. If we just say trust us, just shut up.
I don't agree
Because
with that.
just a little. Okay, just this one then. Just this one. It happened at Clash. It didn't happen at the event, thank God, because I probably would have crashed out. It happened afterwards. These evil players waited until I was like 4 drinks in, and it's like 11:30 at night, and they were like, "Hey, Sean, can you come into the other room for this conversation?" So I grab my drink, I walk over there, and they explain to me the rule ultimatum for the Celestine Insidians. I'm going to pull it up just for people who don't know.
Not this one.
Yep. Again, this has nothing to do with this rule. It is, I don't care what anybody says. We already know how this rule works.
Sean, you know how to trigger me because
it triggers me. It triggers me. I'm still mad about this.
Oh, this is going to go live to the internet. This is awful. Okay,
yeah.
Get ready, Matt.
Yes, it's Zealous Ultimatum. So I'm going to read the rule and then we're going to tell the rest of the story. So once per battle, the Mortis Sanctus gets to do an ability as a strategic gambit. Select one enemy operative with an 8 and issue an ultimatum. Your opponent must accept or decline that ultimatum. If it's a non-player operative, roll 1d6. On a 4-up, the ultimatum is accepted, otherwise it's declined. If the ultimatum is accepted, whenever this operative is fighting against or retaliating against that operative, add 1 to the attack stat of its Blessed Broadsword. The first time this operative incapacitates that enemy while fighting or retaliating during the battle, add 1 to the attack stat of their Blessed Broadsword until the end of the battle. In either case, this is to a maximum of 5. If the ultimatum is declined, whenever that enemy operative is fighting against or retaliating against a friendly Celestine Insidian operative, subtract 1 from the attack stat of that enemy operative's weapons. So it's pretty clear how this works. The accept or decline condition is what gives them +1 attack or -1 attack. That's it. It's pretty fucking clear. The conversation I was roped into while, again, I am drunk, was that ultimatum is not clearly defined in the rules on what an ultimatum is. You could just...
And it's not capitalized, so it doesn't go to Zealous Ultimatum. It's just referencing the word ultimatum in the English dictionary, which is then saying that you could give a player an ultimatum, right? Like, which is you have to choose this or choose this. So you could lose the game, or you could get -20 points. Okay, well, what? You know,
it gets worse. It gets worse, Dakota. I'm going to interrupt. It doesn't even have to deal with the game. You could just say, my ultimatum is you got to lick my feet, or you lose the game.
So, and like, obviously the only penalty for accepting or declining it isn't that you really have to, lick someone's feet or actually lose the game. Yes, you could lie. But there is a set bonus or negative. And the fact that anyone can read the rule as such as this is just bad in general. If anyone tried to do this at a Squad Games event, I would immediately red card them, just in general, and there's no soft joke about it, right? This is not something, and here's the other thing. This was brought up in a rules chat for Command Point, in a real rules chat. Someone actually brought this up, right? And I get it that it's silly and it's funny, but it's not a place to joke or any of that kind of stuff. This is an actual thing that people are arguing, that you could give another person who has free will an ultimatum. And ultimatums, I am a communications major, right? Ultimatums are innately a fallacy, and they're innately bad, right? For any kind of communication, period, right? So, so the rule is you either get this bonus or you don't get this bonus, and that is it. So if you go out there and you try to say this, don't do that, right? Like, don't do that.
No, I absolutely agree. First of all, the player who brought it up wasn't playing at the event. It is a close friend of mine, Zach. Everybody knows who he is, Disregarding Dice. He does all the amazing pictures of people's kill teams. But he also is a terrible, and I'm not even saying this in like a, he's not good at it, shit poster. It still makes me laugh, but God, it was so bad. I know he was messing with me, and he's like, well, this is how bad the rules are written. And I'm like, no, it's pretty clearly defined what the ultimatum's conditions are.
No,
but it became this
unfortunately, he's not completely wrong, but he is
I get
completely
it.
wrong in a
Yeah.
social atmosphere and everything else. Matt, what do you
And
think?
yes.
Yeah, it's absurd. I would, if someone actually like asked me that kind of that caliber of rules question, I'd be like, I think
Go
you
sit
should
down.
go. I think you should just go now.
Yeah, and that's how I handled the situation when it was brought up that night. Is I let them I let both parties argue their point. I listened to them intently as a good TO should. I did not take in any of this information other than to immediately call Dakota and make him angry. And then I walked away
Yeah. So
without
I mean,
giving
I
a ruling
I
because
find it
it's obvious.
So I find it an innate problem of the game in general that someone could interpret a rule as like you having control over another person. I think that's just like a really poorly written rule, just in general, and it should be addressed by Games Workshop. Whether or not it will, who knows? But going back to the original hot take of me being an anarchist, there are two types of TOs in this world. There are the TOs that are the Puritans, and then there's the TOs that are the radicals, right? And then you have the pure chaos TOs as well, right? So I guess there's three. I'm more of a radical where I will try to stay within the bounds of Kill Team in itself, but I've always viewed myself as a champion of the community. So if I think there is something wrong with something that Games Workshop is putting out, or maybe it's not right for my scene, right? I have always stood up for the community over any sort of other choice, right? So for the aspect of me being an anarchist, I thought that in the last edition we held too much to the fact where we would try to homebrew stuff and people had just bad maps and all this other kind of stuff, and we did need some kind of structure and some kind of like label out there like to help TOs and new people start. But now we've gone, I think, too far to the other extreme, and then when the next edition happens, we'll probably bounce way back to the other side because now the whole entire scene is trying to overcorrect, right? So
Well, and I think that that's something that you, as like being such an influential force in the game, not just in the content you create, but the tournaments that you host, is it's like people trust that you were not only doing what's best for the players, but running a good competitive event. Uh, a lot of us don't have that trust with our players. And so sticking to sort of like an established norm, if at all possible, is helpful in that way because it allows our players to know that they're in good hands. So like, we've talked about that with my own events. It's like, well, I'm doing, certain things like the classified decision wasn't actually up to me, but I'll take ownership of it. And it might not be what I
but
want, but it at least creates like a base floor where everybody knows that, okay, this is going to be run properly.
there's one other thing that I want to address that you said. When you said just trust me, like don't argue with me. I don't think that's the right approach.
That's facetious, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right approach as a TO whatsoever. In fact, I have been wrong at multiple times at multiple events. This game is innately difficult, and TOs are fallible, right?
Yes,
Matt, I'm
I
sure
agree.
you've gotten a rule wrong as well, right?
Yep.
So the thing is like if players
Matt
don't push
talked
back,
about doors from today. It happened today.
I know.
so
It did.
so I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind, that if you do think there is a rule that is wrong, you can respectfully argue your case against a judge, and that is not something that you should not do, right?
Oh no, I
I've
agree.
been wrong a plethora of times, and sometimes these rules, and I'm very opinionated, right? If that's why probably people turn into the show, they either hate me or they think my takes are silly, right? But innately, um, we are like, the game is so complicated. None of us know what Games Workshop is thinking, right? So we just have to do our best And that's the reason why you go to Nova, is because Nova is an amazing event, or you go to this Cascade Clash, or you go to LVO or something like that, is because maybe you like the way that we rule the events or how we treat our community, or maybe you're just part of the community and of that area and you want to go there and you want to experience different things. Nova's a great event. I wish I could go every year,
Yeah, if anything,
so
have a little faith in us when something like the Celestine Insidiance argument happens. And what I mean by that
which
is we'll do our best. I'll
no,
never say that I'm
I
100%
think
right, but it's
we
like once I've made a
we had
decision, move on.
we had an argument. Me and Sean. He said that he ruled one thing one way at Cascade Clash, and I disagree with it with Celestine Insidiance. So like, even us TOs are not going to agree, especially when things are not clear. Now, Sheldon wanted me to keep you in the chat.
I saw. I can't wait. I don't know what it is.
So Sheldon, this is going to be our last hot take of the night, because I know that Matt, it's late where he is. So
I'd
Sheldon,
like to issue an ultimatum.
Oh God.
Well,
what's your ultimatum?
But I don't have to be honest.
You need to remove your strength of schedule from your scoring metrics, or lick my feet.
Who uses? I use opponent game win percentage, but yeah, strength of schedule is not good.
I mean, same thing.
It's
Same
interesting.
crap.
Me and Matt used to argue about this all the time, and I was a hot proponent. I'd be like, Matt, why are you doing this? Fuck you, Matt. And he'd be like, fuck you too, Dakota. Matt, what was your decision? And have you thought about going back to strength of schedule, or you've completely moved away from it?
I've completely moved away from it. I will say the problem with strength of schedule is one, it does take how well a player does out of that player's hands. But also it creates a black box where players don't know how really well they're doing until the whole tournament ends. And drops are horrible for them. Because if one of your opponents drops later in the game, or if you trash somebody and they drop right after that, that's just going to tank your score unbelievably. But
I want to paint a little scenario for you guys. It's called Cascade Clash.
Oh, what? You weren't even there.
I wasn't there, but I saw what happened.
Oh my God!
There was a player named Kyle, and another player named Chris, and another player named Brandon Bean that all had the same win-loss ratio going into the end. And Kyle had beaten Brandon Bean in a game, but because he lost to Chris, who got pared down in the second to last round to like the seventh player, when he should have been pared down to the fourth, because BCP sometimes just be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
His strength of schedule was lower than Brandon Bean, the player he beat, and had more victory points, had more tournament points, had more every kind of metric except for strength of schedule.
Like have less primary points, which was also one of the metrics. I mean, if we're gonna be accurate and defend our friends, we should look at all the data.
Yeah, he had 17 and Brandon had 15.
Chris could not win the event, period, because Chris pared down on 2 because the game had a bye. So when you have a bye metric in strength of schedule, there is going to be one person every single round. For 5 rounds, people were paring down, which were innately tanking their opponent win percentage schedule, which is innately bad.
And that's the other problem. But I mean, conversely, though, I will play devil's advocate, and that when you have that as well, and people have to pare down, that becomes a boon in straight like points wise.
Agreed.
But I will say one thing I am 100% opposed to is random pairings within a bracket.
I agree.
I think that completely screws up doing victory points, or if you're doing strength of schedule, like randomly paired in a bracket causes so many problems.
Like,
you mean a bracket like
if we did victory points, Chris would have won because he got pared down in rounds 2 and 5. So
there's no huge advantage.
The problem is, even if you don't have random pairings, if you've played the player before that you should be theoretically pairing into, it won't pair you into the same player twice.
Yeah.
And so opponent win percentage can get wildly skewed that way. It can also, and I've had this happen, Dakota has seen this. I just randomly round 1 played into Orion Wilfong.
Mhm.
And
That
then
happened to Matt too. It happened to Matt
yeah,
against Ace.
and then I'm
So
depressed for the rest of the tournament, and I'm a pretty good player, but I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm just gonna fucking tank my games and get drunk. And
I mean,
now
that's
Orion
one way to handle it.
suffers. What?
That's one way to handle it.
And I was saying, like, Orion suffers his
I-
strength of schedule because he went into
I think
like
Sheldon actually tanked mine and did not at LVO 2020 because I beat
I'd be
him.
doing
and then
that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's how I
here's
know.
here's what I told Chris or Kyle on the day, and just my advice to all players when you're bitching about tiebreaker metrics. Maybe if you find yourself in the finals as the only undefeated player in the tournament, don't choke. It's real simple, and that's what I
Yeah,
told
I
Kyle.
mean,
All he had to do was win that game. He's played Chris how many times? All he had to do was win.
I'm sorry. You put him on stream and you stood over the stream and you said some choice words to them, and then you
to
put
help him
more
calm down. To help him
and
calm
then you
down.
put more pressure on the match when typically wouldn't have been there, but that's the thing is that yes. And also it is the finals and he's playing against his team captain, right? So
Yeah,
I
and
think
I
that
gave him the option to say they didn't want to play on stream as well. He was his choice the whole time.
I
I was telling him that if I think Chris is throwing, I'm going to step in. So again, I'm on his side. But that's the pressure in a tournament. Sorry, dude. You want to win the big one, you got to win it. And all you have to do is win it. And now it
my
comes down to
argument
I hated
is
the
that
tiebreakers.
he beat Brandon. There was no reason why. Like
And
I
yet
could
Brandon
see
went 18-3 in that final round, and that's why he won the event, is because of that blowout.
I could see an argument that like
Chris literally paired down twice, you just said, so his win rate would have got completely tanked, just period. I
mean, it was all sorts of messed up.
There's a ton of things, and that's the thing is but that is another reason why you go to different events, because different events believe in different things. People knew how Sean's event was going to be ran for 6 weeks, so no one could complain. We can complain afterwards because we did not agree to go.
I mean,
I can complain about whatever I want. It's America.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, you're not
wrong.
Thanks, High Rocker, for 6
but I want to hear
6 months.
Thank you, High Rocker. I do want to hear what Matt has to say because there is one part that we're missing from this. But
the problem is they both, and this is what Dakota and I talked about a lot. They both have their negatives in actually different ways, but in the same way. So it's really funny. So like in the example of a tournament with an uneven amount of players, right? The person who pairs down for a bracket in SOS gets penalized, whereas in a victory points game, they get a huge boon because technically they're playing someone who's a whole class below them. And so, like in theory, they should rack up a lot of points. And then in Sheldon's example, first game into Orion was very similar to my first game into Ace. I got trounced. And then I went on to win almost all my other games. But because I was so far behind by getting wrecked by Ace, game 1, I wasn't able to make the cut. Where people who I was watching who had much easier paths throughout the tournament with the same record as me went to make the final cut. So you're right. There is no really perfect one, and like Dakota and I talked about that a lot. I wouldn't like not go to an SOS tournament, and I like SOS. Like I think on paper it is a better indicator of who really the best player is, right? You're the best because you played the best. But like I said, in practice for me, that one, taking that control out of players' hands, I think does make them feel bad. And 2, creating that kind of black box where you don't really know where you are to the end. Now, I will throw another wrench into this. I say, don't do victory points. Don't do SOS. First tiebreaker is primary points.
That was one of my first tiebreakers for placing.
Yeah.
I dislike
But,
I dislike primary points because I think
that's
it's
because you
just
think
like
everybody takes tack up.
most people do.
You have total control over how many primary points you're going to get.
Exactly.
And I think
but
a good player knows what their best strength is when going into a match.
Yep. And there's also a layer to this that a lot of people that is missing here. Again, that last round blowout, and this is why Chris couldn't win and it affected Kyle. The player that Brandon played in the finals beat Chris the round before. So you're dealing with this 4-way split where all of them played each other, and whoever had the best scores playing into each of those matches won. All of them lost to each other once. All of them.
Yeah, except
But
that
one of them won harder into that matchup than all the other three.
Chris never played Brandon though, right?
Nope.
Yeah, but he also paired down. Like, we're talking about between Kyle and Brandon. Chris
No, I
couldn't
know,
have
but
won
I'm saying like
because he got beat, and then both players beat that person.
no, I'm saying like Chris never played Brandon, but Kyle did play Brandon, and Kyle beat Brandon. And in most tournaments, that would pretty much guarantee that Kyle was ahead of Brandon.
Depends. I wouldn't say most because we don't know. I mean, you know, we're playing looking to the crystal ball at this point.
So High Rocker is asking, is there a way that we all agree the best way to prioritize tournament score? Now, everyone kind of knows my thoughts on it. I've always put it out there. I think it's still victory points. And then I go, it doesn't really matter from there. Like, you could do any of the scoring metrics personally. I'll go kill op because everyone has access to it. And then I go crit op, then I go tac op, then I go primary. Matt, sounds like you go primary over the other ones, which is a valid way to do it as well.
Right now I do. No, I do victory points then primary.
Correct. Yeah. Victory point, total victory points overall.
See, and I also think that even just there's no perfect system because, and I've told you this, Dakota, when we talked about it, even if you define it as prime or victory points, you're prioritizing teams that have the ability to blow out matchups more than others, where there are teams that exist in the game that can win by narrow margins. So,
and that is one of the things that I didn't like about victory points is that it encourages clubbing baby seals, right? Like, if your first tiebreaker is SOS and you're winning, you're not going to punish your opponent as much as you can. You're just like, I just need to win by a point and I'm fine.
I'm sorry. There's people that I know that just punish people because they're their opponents. You know, I don't think that that's necessarily
what I'm saying. I don't care about having. I'm saying they're teams that do it.
Having like a clubbing baby seals.
Well,
thing,
then just get good and go undefeated, right, Sean?
Exactly. Well, that's my best advice.
What I'm saying is that like the clubbing baby seals phenomenon or whatever, right? That if you're playing somebody who's theoretically in any game, you have control over victory points. If in your scenario where hey, there's a team that doesn't do very well in victory points, it's like, well, then don't bring that team to a tournament that has victory points. You know, like
that's what I'm saying.
There is a control metric there, but there is no control over. Oh, hey, my 7th round I paired down, and then they went on to go drinking around town and dropped from the tournament, and like that, I have no control over that as a player.
I would agree.
I don't use strength of schedule because dropping impacts it. Opponent game win percentage doesn't. I also do my buys differently, so it doesn't affect your opponent game win percentage. But
well, we're not arguing about
that. It's don't lose.
I mean, yeah, that's easy.
If you want to win.
That's a really easy thing to say. You know, I think that
as somebody who's done it,
I think it's a little condescending to just tell people just don't lose. There's only going to be one winner at an event, right? So like arguing to win an entire event is something completely different. We're not asking how to win an event. We're asking what is the best way to prioritize the fun for events, right? So like,
and theoretically, instance, no matter what the metric is,
me and Sheldon are arguing for the fact that we want to have people have agency and feel the agency in their own games, and that those players, no matter what, are going to feel that when all of the power is in their hands, whether they want to baby seal people, whether they want to take pity on people, whether they win or they lose. The player, it's in your hands. Strength
that's
of
why I like
schedule
primary points more than victory points.
Strength of schedule specifically hurts people when there are some people who just are like, hey, I'm going to get drunk. I don't give a fuck anymore. You know, like that happens 100%. Yes. And then some people's events are ruined because of that. If you win every game or every other game and you lose one game and then you get dropped all the way to 6, that's a feels bad because, and then you're going to blame the people who ran the event. You cannot blame yourself any longer.
Also, I just want to say, no matter what metric you use, like literally any metric you use, you could use the toe size, and if you win all your games, you'll win the event. So that's kind of a non-starter in terms of this argument because no matter what you pick, if you win all your games, you're going to win the event. This is about what happens when you have a situation where 2 people, 3 people, 4 people are vying for 8th place, 1st place, 2nd place. That's where this becomes a thing. Obviously, if you win all your games, if you had victory points or primary points or strength of schedule or opponent win percentage, it's not going to matter because you won all your games and you went undefeated, you know? So it's kind of a it's kind of a non-starter.
Memes aside, I hear you. There is no perfect system. There just isn't. There's no perfect system. There are pros and cons to everything, and I'm always willing to listen to feedback. The beautiful part about this is I've got no negative feedback from anybody who actually flew up and went, Sheldon.
Yeah. Well, I am thinking about Dakota here, and I'm just trying to cause drama for the
no, I know.
Of this show.
I'm just saying, all the Bats players said they had an amazing time.
I actually heard nothing but good things about your event, Sean, but I just want to make drama for the TV, okay?
like I said earlier, Sheldon's a boomer. Of course, he's just going to call in and
he calls me a boomer too, then.
Boomer.
I am 100% a boomer, and I will stand by it. I've been playing this game since it was Kill Team 2018, along with Matt and Dakota here, so we're just a bunch of boomers.
Yeah, but again, Dakota does it too. You're fighting for these glory days of 2nd edition to come back. You're trying to change. Just move with the times. Adjust. Learn new teams. Buy a new box to model.
What are we talking about? What is
like
to be fair, Dakota's had more recent glory days than I did.
No, we're not going to shame
5
people.
Objectives and declassified teams. Just grow up and update and move on. You guys are
We're not going to shame people for playing play the game in different ways. All right, fellas, we're going to say bye to you, and we're going to close out.
I don't play Murder Wing.
All right, good night, guys.
Good night.
Hey, Sheldon.
All right, Matt. That was a hot take at the end, but I think it's more relevant to TOs than it was probably relevant to the general public of Kill Team.
And and like they were saying, no matter what scoring you use, it's going to be a good event.
Agreed. Yeah.
And there's going to be people who did well because of the scoring, and people who did bad, no matter what kind of scoring metric you use. Mm-hmm. It's if you're really concerned about that, I'm talking to players, look at BCP and see how they're scoring it. But really, it doesn't. In the end, it doesn't make that much of a difference.
You're not wrong. We had a couple other hot takes in Discord, but we're not going to be able to get to them tonight. Make sure you keep those hot takes because some of them are pretty good, and join us for our next hot takes episode. Hopefully Giacomo can join us, but that is not guaranteed. We should be doing it hopefully on April 13th. That is right after the Pacific Skirmish. We're giving out a golden ticket to that event. That is going to be in Orange County, California, on the 11th of April. So make sure that you guys sign up for that. We don't have a ton of signups, so the chance that you're going to get a golden ticket is pretty good, because there's a couple golden ticket winners coming. Matt, do you have any shout outs that you would like to do?
No, except Nova tickets go on sale soon. Hold on, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'll keep talking while you find out when Nova tickets are going on sale.
Sorry, I should know this.
You're good.
They go on sale. Are we not on the website? April something.
I will be
posting it. I will be posting it all over the internet when it happens.
If you guys want to travel to anything, Nova's a great event to travel to.
So is LVO.
They both are.
even though I got hosed because of not strength of schedule, the year I went to LVO is still a great event.
One of these days, I'll coax Matt back out there, when he's less busy.
will.
So hopefully, everyone had a good time tonight in chat, and anyone who's watching this in the future or listening to it on the podcast, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate everyone for listening, and appreciate everyone. It's funny. Sean is Sean is raging in the chat now because I cut him off. That is what hot takes are for. Having a little bit of drama never hurt anybody, and listening to some other people's opinions other than yourselves is always good for the game. It's I know it's changed my mind a lot of times. People come up with really good arguments, and hey, it's all about keeping an open mind. So we appreciate everyone for listening and everyone sharing their hot takes, whether we agreed or we disagreed. If you guys want to join the show, make sure you join our Discord. We do this in the stage area, and you put your hot takes over there, and in Twitch, everyone chats and we can read it. So thanks again, Matt, for jumping on. I called you the last minute. Legend.
Always fun to be on.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, we'll let you go to sleep, and we'll sign off here. See you later, everyone.